You're most welcome to our YouTube channel, The Fertility Hub. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. For those who have, and if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Our today's topic is one of the major causes of infertility amongst ladies, and has hurt so many ladies, and sometimes we don't actually know that we have this condition way from when we are still young girls, and that is none other than endometriosis. Today we have our guest from Endometriosis Uganda, and she's going to tell us everything about endometriosis and the symptoms, so that if you're out there and you have those symptoms and you actually don't know what you're suffering from, you can go reach out to our fertility hospitals and carry out the tests to find out if that's what you actually have. It is something that disturbs many people and many ladies outside there and young girls. So you're welcome today, our guest. Thank you for coming. And who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, I'm glad to be here. I want to thank you so much for inviting me, hosting me. My name is Grace Nagawa, and I'm the CEO of Endometriosis Foundation Uganda. I'm a nurse by profession, and I have lived with endometriosis for now 21 years.
Tell us, where do you come from? How have you grown up? Because 2020, when you say you have had endometriosis for 20 years, 21 years, tell us about where do you come from, how did you grow up?
When we talk about endometriosis, for those of you maybe who might not know endometriosis, so endometriosis is that chronic recurrent illness where the inner lining of the uterus grows outside your uterus. So you realize that as a normal woman, the uterus has 3 layers. It has the inner layer that bleeds when a woman is in her period. It has the middle layer, the myometrium, and then it also has the outer layer. So for people with endometriosis, it's that inner layer that is only supposed to be inside as a woman bleeds. So for these people, abnormally that tissue grows outside. So it can embed anywhere. It can embed on your lungs. It has normal cells.
Oh, it doesn't surround the uterus?
No.
It just goes on any organ?
Yes. So it can maybe start from your ovary and then it keeps spreading. It's like grass. It keeps spreading, keeps increasing. And then those are the stages, because it is in stages: stage 1, stage 2, 3, and 4. So the more the stage, the more the intensity of the pain. So we have people who have this on their lungs. We have people who bleed through their umbilical cords. If you're out there and maybe you've ever seen someone bleeding through their cord, chances are high this is. So we've said it keeps on growing until it eats up most of your organs. And that is stage 4. It has affected many of your organs. If they are ovaries, they are all gone. You have it on the intestines, others it's on the bladder. So it has affected a number of your organs. So we really come up to talk about this condition because many people are not aware that this disease is really rampant, and it's affecting many ladies unknowingly. And it's one of the conditions that even doctors take long to detect. So so we have this endometriosis, and then we have adenomyosis. Adenomyosis is when this tissue, instead of moving outside, it moves into the middle layer of your uterus. So it will surround the whole of your uterus, and in stage 4, everything is gone. So that is why it is hard for this woman to have a child, because now your uterus has been badly affected. So to talk about my journey in endometriosis,
I want to actually understand how why I asked you to tell me how you grew up. I want to understand at what level did you notice that you have endometriosis?
So I grew up as a young girl, I live in a family of 9 children. We are 6 girls and then 3 boys. So at the age of 14, by then I was in primary 7, so I started my period. you know, all children are told by their parents, you know, one day you will see red blood, one day you will see blue.
Yeah.
So it all happened, but I just had to see dark black clothes.
Your blood. Yeah.
So, and it came with a lot of pain, severe cramps. So I had to leave school that very day because it was so crampy. I had a severe diarrhea, and so you have that stomach upset. So it was so crampy, so painful. I had to go home. So there were just little dark spots, and this happened for 2 weeks.
You were in P7.
So those 2 weeks I wake up, I didn't go back to school. My mom is a nurse. So she looked at that and then she was like, I think you're starting the period, but I've never seen this. So it was so painful for all those 2 weeks. And that was my first, that is when I started taking painkillers. So I started with ibuprofen and I started taking painkillers. So those 2 weeks elapsed, and remember I'm bleeding for 2 weeks, but it was just small dark spots. So 3 months later, I never saw my periods again, and then the next 4th month, that's when they surfaced again. So they were also painful. So I started having that painful period, 2 weeks, and I used to have it for 2 weeks, but it was never severe regular. So whenever I'm talking about my journey, I'll try to show you out there that these are the symptoms someone with this disease will present with. Some of them, many of them may not have clear blood. So I had this for 2 weeks. I used to do for 2 weeks. So like 4 years later now, the pain that used to be only during those 2 weeks of my period started coming even before my menses. So like five days before we start getting severe cramps, now I started having other symptoms like chronic headache, backache. At times you feel dizzy, you lose appetite. You have symptoms of a pregnant woman. So if you're out there and you have these symptoms, that's severe pain because you should have severe pain during your menses.
Yeah.
So time came and it just increased. So I started seeing doctors, but then they said maybe do urinalysis and then you
At what age was that when you started seeing the doctor?
Around 18 years.
Around 18.
So they are treating for UTI. Now they started treating for PID. So that is how tricky it is, and even doctors can't,
The doctors couldn't tell that you're suffering from this.
So by the time I clocked like 20 years, I had this passion of being a nurse. So after I went for my training course started at Zambia Hospital. So still the intensity of this pain increased. Now the person who used to have pain during their periods, I started having almost daily pain. Out of the blue, you have sharp pains, you have pain that aggregates through all your legs, even when you're not in the nursery. So this is what we say that it keeps on increasing from stage. Now it had left stage 1, it's moving to stage 2, and then stage 3. With stage 3 and 4, you almost have daily pain. So, and now I'm bleeding for 3 weeks. So the bleeding started increasing. Now 3 weeks, I only have like 1 week in a month that I'm not in my menses. So, and my mom couldn't really. They were like, oh my God. So I started taking herbal because now medics couldn't tell what
your problem was. Yeah.
So my mom started looking for herbal here and there, and you know how people out there can say, for those people that have chronic pain in their abdomen, some people say it is that word jigalanda. You've ever heard that word? The Baganda call it that word.
Which word? How do they call it in English? Because I may not understand.
So in English, for sure, I'm just not certain about that word, but local people try using that. Like if you have that chronic abdominal pain, something is moving into your tummy, something like that. But it's not that. So the pain increased, and remember, you have chronic headache. This headache can move on for a whole month, and it's this headache that doesn't go away with painkillers. Of course, at times you would say, oh my God, why I have something with my brain? So chronic headache, and then in the month, throughout the month, you have pregnancy symptoms. So I used not to socialize with my body, because now I started, you live a life of you're not normal like other people.
You become an introvert.
All that time you're in pain. When you try to ask things to people, do you experience this? Do you have such type of luxury? Everyone is like, no. So you're like in pain, you have kidneys. You know how people that we sure you know, there are moments when you're just in that mood, mood swings. Now you're in that state. So time kept on, you know. So I had to leave. You know, by then I had finished my training at a Sunday and then started working. So the pain increased. And now that by that time I started, by then I was around 26 years.
26 years.
Yes. Around 24.
And remember, you began all this when you were 14 years. Now this is 26 years.
I think it was around 24 years. So I started going for scans. So during the scans, they started seeing cysts.
Yeah.
So the abdominal scan, of course, when scans are done, they will see that any mass wherever it is. So they started seeing cysts on my ovaries. And in actual sense, for a person with this disease, endometriosis, these are not cysts. They are called endometriosis complexes. Because now this blood has nowhere to escape, it will form pockets. So it will start piling and then form its own pocket so that
on the
blood
ovaries.
piles.
Yeah.
Yes. So it started piling, and now the sonographers will say, and these are cysts. And the doctors were like, oh, these are cysts. So let's wait, maybe when they get to 7 centimeters, we shall get you. And this is too wrong, because if you wait for this thing to grow, it is affecting other organs. And then others were like, no, I think you have physiology because these are normal cysts. Once you grow or when you try to conceive, these things will disappear. The pain is increasing. So after my nursing, you know, we hint about different conditions, but I can't tell you that even at a training school, you know, we talked about endometriosis. So we talk about fibroids, we talk about cysts, we talk about infertility, but we didn't, you know, and that is why of doctors. In most cases, we don't talk about this condition.
Yeah, they don't talk about them. Yeah.
So I started relating with the conditions I studied about, and then I'm like,
this is different.
Something is wrong with me. I think I have a similar condition that doctors are trying to understand. So not until one day I went to the gynecologist who was managing me. I told him, you know what, doctor, I've taken enough antibiotics. I think I have a problem. Then he was like, okay. Of course, they did the hormonal test, and I had that hormonal imbalance. You know, with these people, estrogen is usually high. So he saw that, and then he was like, yeah, I think you have hormonal, but try to conceive. When you get pregnant, I believe this thing will disappear. So, because now doctors couldn't tell what happened was, I kept on monitoring myself with scans. The cysts were increasing. So not until, you know, these things of us now, so you keep on upgrading up to the level you want. So I went back to upgrade, and then by then I was 27 years.
Were you still having daily pains?
Daily pain, because
so you are always living on painkillers.
Yes. I'm a strong person, because even despite all that pain, I used to black out on injectables. So I started, you know, I started from ibuprofen, I went to diclofenac, ibuprofen, I started in it. So when you give me an injectable, I just black out. So I used not to take injectables because, you know, they couldn't help. Of course, you have to run bottles when I take any injectable. So time came that now I used to triple ibuprofen, that tablet, you know, that pink tablet. So I take 2 after 30 minutes, after 30 minutes, and then I feel the pain. So I do this after like 4 hours. That was my life. All the moments I don't take it, I used to trust God a lot. I believe God has done a lot in my life. Because the moments when now, doctors will tell what I'm talking about. So I used to go before the Blessed Sacrament every evening. I didn't tell God, please. So that is how I used to manage pain. So when I clocked 27, I went back for upgrade. I think 3 months, I just felt paralyzed out of the blue. And I felt something is missing. And that is, I just lost conscious to find myself. I was at the doctor's
in the hospital.
So when I gained conscious, the doctor asked me, what is wrong with you? So I told her, I've had pregnancy symptoms for years. And right now, I feel I'm She just told my colleague, you just take her to do an X-ray. She's trying to abort. That is what she said.
Wow.
In my sense, I've never been with anybody. So I told my colleagues, let's go for a scan. We went for a scan and realized I had 2 masses on all ovaries, about 9 to 10 centimeters, and one of them had burst. So the sister there who did that scan was like, oh God, Grace, where have you been? And you know, I've seen doctors, I've seen gynecologists. So we went back to that doctor, and when she saw my scan, she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. That is when she realized, you know, and then she had to put me on bed, examine, and then she was like, you know, you can't handle this. She had to call in a gynecologist and let him know. So he was like, okay, we shall organize for an emergency surgery, which I was prepared for that whole day. I did that. Of course, the guy examined me, he sat me down, he's like, Grace, your nurse, you know, cysts. These are cysts. Of course, cysts and fibroids, when someone goes in, they operate you. In most cases, that's okay. You're okay. So he told me, you know, cysts, we shall operate you and you'll be well. I entered theater, I think it was 9 a.m. I came back at 5 p.m. So, you know, when you're in theater, you're in that recovery room. So I used to hear everyone say, I've never seen this. Whenever I try to gain consciousness, I've never, oh my God, people were like, I've never seen this. So when I went back to the ward, I would just have, because I told I react on injectables, they gave me peptide, that painkiller. So again, it gave me worse symptoms. So I tried asking colleagues, what did they find in you? And even the nurse said, oh, you've never heard of that word. But I think doctor will come and explain.
They couldn't even pronounce the word.
So he came the following day, and then he sat us down with my family. My mom was there and a sister. I have a sister who is a nurse, and she was also like, but this was a woman, you know? So the doctor was like, I've never seen this. This is endometriosis stage 4. And we've said stage 4 is the final stage of this thing. So it had eaten up all my ovaries were gone, all the intestines had this tissue, and then the abdominal wall was green. Green, you know, gangrene. You know, like something has stayed, you know, dirty for some time and then it turns green. So that was how it was. So what he did was just he sucked out that blood that had formed in the pockets and then closed. So he told my people, for sure, I've done nothing. And had I known that I'm entering this thing, I wouldn't have done this surgery. So he told, this is an experienced gynecologist, and so, you know, but he was like, no one will handle you here. That is what I believe, that thing has affected me badly. So, but he told us, I think he will try and find out specialists abroad that will work on you. He wrote us a referral letter.
Which year was this?
This was 2017.
2017. We didn't have specialists in Uganda who could treat endometriosis.
Yes. That is what I can say. Because that guy is a super guy, I can say. And he really told me, Grace, I can't handle this. So, because now he didn't address the letter to anyone. So we try to research, and now when you would research, you really see how the cost of this surgery outside Uganda. So because we had no other option, he put me on Zoladex. Those are injections you're given on your abdomen to try to cease menstruation so that I stop bleeding, relieve on the pain. I was put on morphine, you know, it's this strong painkiller, but I didn't take it because I never wanted to be addicted to these drugs. I used to cry with this pain. So my mom tried again looking for her body. Because now medically it has failed.
You're literally moving with wounds inside you.
Pain, I'm limping. The person who gave me these injections to stop bleeding, the blood period didn't stop. And remember now this blood is just spilling outside of your wall. So the pain, you know, this pain is like someone putting a metal in fire and they put it on. That is the pain you would move with daily. So it so happened that, and remember by then I was still at school. So I was called, you know, we are going to give you a dead year. I told them, they told me this condition doesn't heal. So do you want me to just die from home? Let me at least stay here. I don't know, I used to pass my exams so well. And that year, you know, I passed my exams, I had to leave that, you know, achieve what I wanted. So after that, we went to the referral letter our referral hospital, Milago. So they directed us a professor. This and a professor. And they were like, he's a good friend. So I went there. When he looked at my documents, he was like, you know what? You're going to die with that pain. No one will handle this.
I told you you're going to die with that
That is
pain.
the word he used. You will die with that pain. No one can handle this. I went with my sister and then I just told her, you know what? Let's go home. So I went home waiting for my dad. Because you would feel you're losing your life. You know, there are moments when you have pain all over your body. At times you you feel numbness, you're paralyzed. So I would just feel only the upper part of my body. So I'm like, okay, I'm dying slowly. I'm there. So I was just ready. You know me, I had to even call Crystal. Just bless me. And I'm waiting for it. Because it's something that has been I'm suffering this pain. So my mom, the more she looked for herbal, so she looked for a herbal that started reducing that, eh? And then I started gaining some energy. So when I tried gaining energy, because I used to stay at home and all my sisters would cry. You know, at times I would close myself in a room and they are in pain and they would keep crying. So when I gained energy, I was like, oh, I have to leave home. I called one hospital and told them I want to come and work, and they just told me come and work. So I went to work. So I had, and that was Rwanda Hospital. So I applied, did an interview, and they told me come and work. So of course, you know, these things I didn't narrate a lot that I have this problem. So
Yes.
3 months after I had started working, again I got the same episode. I felt paralyzed and felt sharp pain. So a scan was repeated, and again now, because I thought this herb was healthy, so masses grew again so fast. And then one of them had cancer.
Again.
So of course the team sat, a team of gynecologists, and then they were like, we have to remove the uterus. So and then they were like, even when it's removed, this tissue has spread. So it doesn't mean that even when it is out, it will be well. So I have a brother, Marike, so he researched and found out a specialist who gave us an appointment in Rocky. Of course, it took us over 30 minutes. We didn't know we could get money, but that is what I can say. When you trust God, there are things He does, and you're like, because when he told home that, you know, that doctor is pressing for almost, 20 something M, and you know, the cost of transport and treatment, some that's up to 30. So everyone at home was like, for sure, we should just have to just die. We can't get that money. But miraculously, my brother, he had worked for someone in Uganda, and he didn't help him. So that very week I called him, he sent almost 27 million. Just, you know, I put your money on your arm. So he didn't even use that money. I was like, oh. So when I called him, he told us, I think, the voice just told him when I called him, I think this money was in. So he supported me. I went for that surgery for him. So the man did that surgery. He said my uterus, you know, all my ovaries were gone. There was cut, and then they had to after they did excision surgery, they uproot that tissue. They had to stitch all the ovaries. And then he told me that intestines couldn't overcut it because this is a team. He didn't even handle the surgery alone because he told us that when those stages advanced.
Did you say he saved your uterus?
Yes.
You have your uterus?
Yes.
That's so nice. Yeah.
So after that surgery, I think it was my first time in life to see red blood. So I started seeing red blood. The person who used to live for 3 weeks and now live for 1 week. So he sat me down and explained to me thoroughly about endometriosis. He told me that dietary and lifestyle. He told me we have no known cure for this illness, even up to death. This is a professor in this condition. So he told me this thing has affected you badly. I can't promise that maybe you would conceive or what. And IVF you can try, but it has really affected your ovaries. But at least the surgery I've done, it will support you. Of course, it will occur, but you'll get better. So that is how I left. And of course, I looked around and I'm like, no, many women are suffering with this. I think it's high time we come up and talk about this condition because I got better on diet and lifestyle 7 years back now, no painkillers, and that's
Wow, 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 wow. We really thank God for your life, especially for saving your life. Because when you're telling me the story, I reached a point of my thoughts are like, they removed the uterus. So we thank God you still have your uterus. So, seeing how your family was in for you, how do you think it affected them, your family members? How does endometriosis affect like like your relationships, family members, and the surrounding communities? Yeah.
it. So one thing I thank God is that I had a supportive family. And these people understood. Of course, at first they thought, this girl, no man, because are those things.
Yeah.
But when I grew up and the pain wasn't, they were like, but now this person, she's always isolated and all that. So, but at least when they were told the condition, they understood, and then they got to know, oh God, this girl all along was going through this. And my brother, I had a brother, I went with Nairobi. So when, of course, their surgery is done and someone is watching, he was like, I didn't know this girl is carrying all that, in her blood. So they got to know, they supported me a lot. But there are people, and of course it traumatizes them seeing someone chronically in pain and all that. But there are ladies who are not understood.
Yeah.
And we have many of them. So they call, and that's when they join the foundation, they feel we are family, we are their relatives. So many of them are not understood. Some people bleed a lot, but someone has severe bleeding, someone has clot, and people think they are aborted. So there are people who call, my dad has left me because he says I'm aborted.
Yes.
Because she's having severe bleeding and all that. So at times many people are not understood. Even the workplaces where we work, you find that there are employers who don't understand these people. They can't stand someone who requests for an off every time they're in their periods. But we have to know these people didn't choose to, have this. And these people are so productive, so they are not understood, that stigma, and now if it comes to marriage, it is really hard, because it takes time for these people to have a child. Of course, we have those that have had children, but now it will take some years for you to conceive, and then to some people, if it's stage 4, it will be harder. Someone has to do IVF. And of course, even IVF in most cases is not an automatic that now a first cycle you want, So there are those that it has worked after 3 cycles of someone trying, So, and then remember you have a husband and now the relatives. But now this person who doesn't conceive, this person, I think she took this family planning methods and all that. Please, we don't take these things, and these ladies going to, they don't take these things. It's so happened. It's something that happened like anyone who has an abnormality. But now people may not understand. So that is why we come up to talk about this condition. Because now tomorrow it may be a relative or someone. You may have a daughter there who is struggling with pain during their period. Just take it.
Yeah, I think let's look out for people for when your child has too much pain. Let's take them to look for medical attention. Our bosses, male, especially male bosses, and of course our husbands and all that. If they see you when you're in your crap, I've seen some videos where, like on TikTok, someone says, it's time for my babe's periods, and it is that time that he's so scared. You get scared of that period. So instead of keeping the ladies at home, let's take them to the hospital to make sure they get the correct diagnosis. Yes. Grace, how do you think, I know we've partly talked about it, but how do you think the community, the people surrounding people who are going through endometriosis, how do you think they can support them?
So after that surgery, I think in 2019, that is when we came up with Endometriosis Foundation Uganda, because I realized now it is time I had to stand up, say out my story, and people get to know this disease exists. So we have people that have been people calling in to join and get support. And now, because they are, so that they are not silent, because we've said many go to hospitals and they can't detect this.
Yeah.
So the more we talk about this, even health workers are now, yes, getting to know, oh God, this thing exists. And someone will go ahead thoroughly examine someone, you know. So the community out there, you know, there are parents who have their children, their daughters going through pain during their period. It is not normal for someone to have chronic pain during their period.
Yes. Actually, the doctor say it is okay to have cramps, but there are cramps that are not normal. Yeah. So when you notice that the cramps are not normal, reach out to a hospital.
So please, you can link these people with us. So we work with doctors that have really trained and can handle endometriosis. And when you go into a doctor or a guy who is not experienced in it, the one who will go there with stage 2 will come down with stage 3 or 4. Because if someone is not experienced in handling this, they will just mess you up.
Oh.
And there are nice doctors that will tell you, oh, if this is this, let me refer you to somebody. And we've seen those calling us, this help this person, and they are doctors. And that is very good, because instead of messing me up, refer me to someone who can handle that. But at least we thank them, and we thank those that are trying to detect. So we have a number of ladies, over 300. However, many are battling because these surgeries are expensive. At least the doctors we work with, we have doctors in Uganda, we work with Doctors Fire, we have doctors in Nairobi who really work with us and help these people. So because if the surgery is at an early stage, it can go up 7 million, and then if it is extensive stage 4, it can go to 15 to 20 M. So these surgeries are really expensive. And remember, this is only a surgery, and someone has to battle a journey of infertility. And no way you can just go in for IVF without working on this surgery first. So you realize that surgeries are expensive. So we usually call upon anyone who like to support these ladies, because many of them are out there, they are on the group, but looking for funds to support for surgery. So we do support where we can, but it can't be enough. Many of them need support for surgery, but we try to support them psychologically, mentally. So when we come together, for sure, we do a lot of dieting and lifestyle, because we realize with this condition, even when surgery is done, diet and lifestyle will keep you moving. And if you don't work on it, for sure, it will easily reopen, the pain. So we do a lot of that. So, and psychologically, many of them get better and continue moving forward.
Yeah.
So many of them have lost their jobs because now their employers can't understand them. Someone is in hospital, someone is, so many have no jobs. And some of them love, let me start up something of mine where at least I have no one to back at me, no one to, So anyone who would have any kind of support, Endometriosis Foundation Uganda, you can call in, maybe offer any kind of support to these ladies. At times we have hot water bottles, because these are some of the materials these ladies have to live with.
Yes.
So we do a lot of that. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Endometriosis Uganda. I think it's a good initiative, and I've actually equally had ladies reach out to me who are going through endometriosis, and probably they don't even know where to go. They don't know where, I'll forward them to you so that you can give them more advice. Maybe something else. How can we, as organizations, as people who are raising awareness, how can we reach out to these young girls? Because you started that when you're 14 years in P7. Do you think we can reach out to this message to children who are like 10 years and above? Do you think we can reach out to these students, or are you reaching out to them? are you reaching out to these these children?
So as a foundation, some of the services we offer are sensitization to the general public and health professionals about endometriosis, self-care management of the disease. We do counseling and health education. We support ladies with this condition and also linking them to the right professionals. Of course, we have tried training advocates. Anyone who can call in and would love to work with us, we train advocates, and then they can reach out to places that
you
know
can
far, or they are somewhere, and we train them how to do it, and we work together so that they create awareness. We try to move in schools, in hospitals, talking about it, but you can't do it. You can't finish everything. So we love people that will come in, join us so that we get more awareness, because now creating awareness in schools is something that we are high schools, we are targeting, because the more you're detected early, the better you're supported, it's ended early, and you know what to do. So we would love that, anyone who would love to join us, because now but we can't do it as a small group and all that. So anyone who would love to join us.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Grace. If you're out there and you're going through this pain, ladies, please reach out to us. We shall connect you to Endometriosis Uganda and other fertility doctors so that you're helped. Parents, if your daughter is going through something that you don't understand, like they didn't understand when she was 14 years, please reach out, take them to the doctor so that they can see what is wrong with the child. Don't stay with the child to the extent of losing most of their ovaries and all that. But we thank God that the God who saved your uterus. That's key, eh? God is faithful. At that moment when you had all those chocolate cysts and all that, maybe God still needed you to. Yes, so there is always hope. Let us not lose hope, and let's make sure that you get the proper diagnosis. Let's not rush to people who are not professional. Let's always look out for professionals who can help us. Our reproductive system is the most sensitive part of our bodies, especially if you want to be a mother, if you want to be a father. So thank you so much, Grace, for coming, and thank you so much for telling us about endometriosis. We shall reach out more for for people when they want to support. So we appreciate you. What's your last message to the people who are out there?
I would like to take this opportunity to thank VACA Health Foundation, it is based in Australia, that are giving us a grant to support these ladies. We are coming up with a virtual system so that people can reach us online, have video calls online, and they don't have to travel a lot. We thank those people that are really supporting us. And we call upon anyone who would have any kind of support to reach out to Endometriosis Foundation Uganda and give a hand to these ladies, or maybe you're interested in advocacy activities we do. It is highly welcome. At times, I just want to talk to married people out there. If you have a lady going through this pain, severe period pain, and you see they're not having, they're trying to conceive and it is failing, chances are high this person could be having endometriosis and they have not reached out for better management. Of course, there are moments when even surgery done and conception is still hard. Please, these are people that have no hand in this, and at times God will bring a child the way He planned it to be. I didn't tell you I got married, but then I broke up with my husband now because he couldn't stand me not having
Your
a
pain
child
and
for all
not
that,
having a child.
and then the pressure from friends and all that.
I know.
But the moments when we have to choose, we go through a lot of pain, and because stress increases the endo pain.
If a man is not strong, men leave their wives because of infertility challenges.
Yes.
And now you are going through pain.
you choose, because now I need a happy life. I've gone through a lot. So the moment when you can't stand some, but men out there, we can't men that have stood their wives 8 years, no child. But then at the end of it all, God brings that child miraculously.
God will always bring that child.
Yes. So men out there that are standing with their ladies, maybe they have endometriosis, infertility, and you're still staying with her, just know it is God that will reward that for you. And parents out there, if you have your child going through period pain, severe period pain, and it is chronic, please reach out for better management and support. I want to take this opportunity again to thank you so much, Rosie, for hosting me, because wherever we do this, you are I don't know if it is okay for me to share my number, or
you can share your number. It's okay.
Yeah. So for those who would love to reach out to us, my number is 0787 71 46 12. So you can call in. I shall link you up and support you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you so much. Men who have stood with your wives through the trials and tribulations of infertility, of endometriosis and pain, we salute you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being strong men. Thank you for standing with your wives. And women who have stood with your husbands also, because there are men, this infertility thing, there is something I want to add my voice to. Infertility affects men and women equally. So we also appreciate women who have stood with their husbands and gone through all the procedures with them. We salute you, you're strong women, and men, you're strong men. We thank you so much, and we request you we appreciate you and encourage you to keep standing with them, because God is going to bless you one day. One day you wake up and your wife is carrying twins, carrying triplets. I've seen, thank God for that. So God has not left us. Thank you so much, Grace, again. Thank you so much, Endometriosis Uganda, for coming and agreeing to be our visitor today. Thank you, our audience. Please keep subscribing, liking, and commenting, share. There's so many topics that you would want us to talk about. Please reach out to us and tell us. We shall be able to serve you. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye-bye.